Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chat.
And this is Martin. We have a special treat for you just to start off the show.
Yes, we
Kinga
have...
just met this guy, shockingly. And we heard a little bit of his song, and we wanted to share with everybody.
Well, his
So here
name
we
is
go.
Ryan Bastman.
Correct.
And we just met him, and we just thought this will be a fun way to, like you said, laugh a little.
Yeah, laugh a little.
actually in here to record the song, and now you're giving me a chance to perform it. This is wonderful.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
That's
Here
good.
we
There
go.
we go.
A little practice, a little voice warm up.
Me.
All right, Kinga, you're the mic for him. I'm the mic for the phone. And start whenever you're ready, my friend.
There we go.
I'm excited
You can
to
just
do
hold
this.
it. There we
So
go.
this is basically about the weather here in Arizona. I mean, that's the premise, right?
Okay.
So summertime and the weather we're coming into now. So here we go. Arizona, listen to me. The weather out there this summer has been a hot mess. But life under 100 degrees is better than anything they got out there. My landscaping's always greener. Now that I have grass that's fake. We dream about double digits or jumping into a lake. I might get to wear a light jacket. Sometimes wonder what it's for. Such wonderful weather coming. Cool breezes we've waited for. 100 degrees. 100 degrees. It'll get better in sweater weather. Take it from me. In State 48 we like to play. So summer sun please go away. 3 months of moping, 9 months of gloating. 100 degrees. Down here all Phoenicians happy while AC compressors blow. When summertime temps are crappy, a 3rd degree burns my soul. But sometime around October, sometimes middle, sometimes late. But certainly by Thanksgiving, the weather is flipping great. 100 degrees. There we go. 100 degrees. Family come see us, states want to be us, it's freaking sweet. Sure, in the summer we all cook. This time of year is off the hook. Population doubles, there's traffic struggles. 100 degrees. 100 there you go. 100 degrees. 100 degrees. Now in the street here, don't burn my feet here, even at 3. Find shade to park could take all day. Now I can motorcycle, hooray. We got to cheer it. Pass me a beer, it's 100 degrees. So boot the swimsuit and store your shade top. Bust out your long sleeve so you looking sharp at last. No swamp ass grub outside the club. The heat won't delete your soul. Play golf in the day, autumn bring cooting. We bout to go out and stay out to spring. No more burn your arse when you get in cars and power bills get low. This is the instrumental break where you guys are supposed to be dancing.
Okay.
This it sounds like more of a documentary than a parody.
Yeah, it is a mockumentary, if you will. Yeah.
I live there, and all that's true.
It is true. It fits. And here's the big finish.
All right,
If
here
you're
we
ready. All right, here we go. You guys know this song. Come sing along. 100 degrees. 100 degrees.
100 degrees.
Dropping mercury, erase your worry, and leaves fall from trees. When they say it ain't bad cause it's dry, I show them sea buckle burns on my thigh. Every snowbird here flock in a herd here, 100 degrees. All California buying a home here, 100 degrees. All your weather wishes, sunbathe on Christmas, go play your soccer, still drink your water. We bout to rally here in the valley, 100 degrees. Ouch!
Ow.
Oh, thank you so much, Ryan.
Damn,
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How do people find you?
Well, it's not up yet, but you can find me Bassman Ryan on Instagram and
Bassman Ryan.
So where did you find out you could do such a perfect Jamaican accent? Did you like go to Jamaica? Like, how
that's
did
where
you
I'm
find
from,
this?
man. That's where I come from. That's where my roots are. No, I used to sing that song. I do karaoke all over the freaking valley, and that's one of the fun songs that everybody just goes nuts for.
Right.
And so
Right.
one day I'm literally waiting for an appointment in my car. I got 20 minutes, and I go, Under the Sea kind of sounds like 100 degrees.
Yeah, it
and I
does.
just started replacing lyrics, and 25 minutes later, I was like, oh, this is going to be fucking
Genius.
sweet.
Oh, that's okay. You can that's on the show.
Well, thank you so
Well,
much,
thank
Ryan.
you.
Thank
And
you
we
very
will
much,
definitely
guys.
be in contact.
And
He's actually here to record his song, and I think Kinga tackled him. In
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that's you got the first showing of this
Rendition.
thing.
This
All
is so
right,
exciting.
we got an
A star
exclusive.
is
But we'd love to do a future.
Oh
full
yeah, after
interview.
it's
Yeah.
out.
Good. I've
and-
got
Give
views
you
on
your
sustainability
contact
too. I'm a
information.
vegetarian, which is my big
Oh,
part.
perfect.
wonderful.
You
We
know,
have lots to
saving
talk
You have to
about.
hold this
so,
to time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very good. Oh, sorry, I was too far
So
away.
you're a vegetarian, so we'll
Correct.
do a future show about all the ways you're sustainable.
That sounds great. And personally, I come from a background of I'm large, obviously. You can tell I'm a bigger guy. I'm an athlete. And for a long time, there
What
was
kind of
not a
athlete?
lot-
What do you do?
What don't I do? I mean, I've done Ironman competitions. I've done 100-mile trail runs.
Wow.
I play basketball. I shoot guns on the weekend. I do all kinds of crazy
Oh wow,
stuff. So
you sound like our kind of guy.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
You
fun.
are a permanent member of the team.
All right, sounds well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
I
so
Oh,
much,
thanks for being
Ryan.
here, man.
Thank
I look forward to
you.
getting to know you more.
Bassman, Bestman.
There you go.
Bassman,
Well,
I like
I want to
that.
make sure you get your
At-
contact information.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
great
Yes,
recording, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, deal.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you
Native
very much.
Thank you.
Arizona,
And thank you,
too.
Gabe.
That's right. Native Arizona. Yeah, see, even gets a tip.
Yay!
All right. Well, that was a great way to start off the show.
Right?
That was
How
awesome.
super fun was that?
Right.
Don't
Thank
often,
you.
very rarely get that kind of just a dive bomb in and out.
Isn't that amazing? Like,
Mhm.
it's serendipity. Would you say that, Chet?
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna have Disney come after him at all, though, because there's a reason why I've never heard a Disney song parodied before.
Yeah, well,
They don't really like people
Weird
touching
Al
those
Yankovic.
melodies.
Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic kind of paved the way for that. But I know he's
I'm
gotten
fat.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
fat.
he's gotten
Really?
permission from the artist, but sometimes he doesn't. Parody laws are different. But yeah, Disney's that's a whole different beast. So I hope he kills it.
Oh
personally.
yeah. Oh no, the song is very funny.
Oh, yeah.
very funny.
Well, and everything is true.
Yes,
But
like I
yeah,
said.
but it's positive too. The way, if you go back to the lyrics and we listen to this again, it's very positive. I loved it.
Well, yeah, it's turning something kind of negative into something fun
And
funny.
positive.
Yeah, very positive.
And
I
happy.
loved it.
Yeah, like
And
he's-
no song about the heat would be, accurate without a swamp ass line, and he included that. So. Gotta give it the accuracy points too.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. That's what I thought.
So we've been hearing about all these exciting travels.
Well, but before we start, we need to introduce our guest.
Oh, Janae.
Janae.
Janae. Can you
Thank
tell us a
you.
little bit
Grab
about
your
you?
microphone and point it
Janae.
right towards it.
Sure. Yes, Janae.
Well, Janae, I want to say, has become a huge fan of our show.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I've been so blessed because I was in a couple places where somebody said, "Oh, somebody was telling me about your show," and I was actually with my sister, and then I said, "Well, oh, who's this fan?" And then she went and looked, and she goes, "Oh, it's Janae," and I go, "Oh, Janae." So and Janae has all these different ideas for future shows with people that she
Yes.
wants to bring on, which is exciting.
Wonderful.
Very
Yes.
much so.
Well, welcome.
Yes.
We're finally glad to meet you.
Thank you. Well, I was actually a longtime resident of the Valley,
Uh-huh.
and then took a break, and I also reside part-time in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is a green
nice.
living place.
Yes.
They're trying pretty hard up
Yeah,
in New
they-
Mexico. But the,
Do you think it's more so than Arizona?
Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the movie The Milagro Beanfield War, Robert Redford
Mhm.
really explains
Mm.
about New Mexico's long-standing history of being an agricultural state and the irrigation issues and
Water issues, they have much more difficult water issues than we do.
Yes.
It's not publicized at all, but they've implemented a lot of different things.
So what are the
Absolutely.
positive ways that you are very sustainable?
well, we have a really great composting program, not only with the city of Santa Fe, but also with some private entity foundations that have an educational farm that youth can go and be part of many different programs throughout the summer and fall. And I myself, partake in it as well. And it's been a beautiful thing to have this much trash each week versus what we might, since I too am a vegetarian. So the majority of my food is fruit, vegetables,
yeah.
and
And there is
so-
some waste to that. You've got the peels and some of the stalks and things like that.
But then you can compost.
Especially if you
Exactly.
juice.
That's
what it is.
Oh, you can compost.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
what is the meal that you have if you feel like, you just worked out or something, you need a lot of energy? What is the meal you eat? Because
Good question.
Well, I try to do days where I go vegetarian, and literally by the second meal, after the second meal, I'm craving protein already, like meat already.
Yeah.
I don't know, my muscles just crave it because I work out a lot too. But I like will try to do vegetarian as long as possible, and 2 to 3 meals is my maximum
Well,
before I start
for-
just getting these headaches.
For the level of activity that you're at, there's several Ryan was actually talking about. There's several power lifters that are vegetarian, and they talk about like you have to create a whole protein, like rice and beans is a whole protein, and so there's certain combinations of food that you've got to figure out that gives you a whole protein, and then you won't feel that.
Interesting.
And do you know some? Do you have some
Yeah,
of those ideas?
I think also too, one thing you have to remember is that it's a process. You really can't go from
That's true.
eating animal protein, like a heavy, maybe not even that heavy, but fish, whatever animal protein, to vegetarian. I think it's a process, and I think that your body needs to adjust. And I don't really think, like Michael Pollan, who's one of the foremost, written many, many books on this subject, I think that it's important that we all need to recognize not everybody needs to be a vegetarian.
Mhm.
It's just we don't need to eat,
As
30
much
Well,
as
I
you
basically
do.
just do it
Right.
to try to, flush my system,
Yeah.
do it kind of like a little mini cleanse.
I love that.
Less
Sure.
cholesterol going in.
Absolutely.
It's, good for your
So is
cardiovascular
this one meal
system
a
and
week
stuff,
or
so.
one meal? How often do you do this?
I mix it in kind of often.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
See, like what
actually for breakfast today, I had a fruit bowl. I didn't.
right.
I have still not had 0 meat. I've been vegetarian so far today, but I'm craving steak right now.
And
So
I
wait.
think also too, though, is that I'm a big firm believer in juicing. I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I thought everybody had a juice bar because just that's how my life was growing
Right.
up in a college town. And I think that green juice, with turmeric, with some ginger, but go
Yummy.
heavy on, the green juice. And once you start that process, because it wasn't always easy for me too. I kind of grew up mixed,
Yeah, Midwest girl. You
Mid-
probably had your share of potatoes and meat.
Yeah, but also being half French and half Scottish, our family
Oh
really,
wow,
we
that's
weren't.
a different cuisine,
There
right?
was a lot more fish in our diet
Mhm.
than, heavy meat, but, certainly was there growing up there. But I think there's ways that you can circumnavigate and try to keep, like, the low glycemic, like,
Well, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
stay omnivore. Like I love,
Sure.
having meat and steak and fish. But I want to work in more days of being vegetarian. But whenever I try to do a full day of vegetarian, I always get a headache by dinner time because.
Yeah.
I
But why
need-
not just do like breakfast or lunch?
or tofu.
Well, that's what I'm
Tofu's
saying.
good,
If I could
chickpeas.
find tofu, never
No,
leaves me
but-
satisfied. Sadly, no. And I've tried beans. Like I try to do it
Lots
all,
of
but
beans,
yeah.
yeah.
Right, it's
I'll eat like a
it's
full
a
can of beans.
combination, but it's
Okay.
a combination of the rice and beans. Because if you just have the beans, it's filling, but it doesn't have all the necessary building blocks to turn it into a full protein, which is what your body's craving. So if you
Gotta
have
include the rice too.
And,
Yeah,
and
so
what about a
when
little
you-
cheese?
Yeah.
well, cheese is the fat, and that's okay too.
Sure.
But specifically, you're looking for protein
Yeah.
because you're looking for body mass, and
that's what
that's
I-
why you've got to do the combinations of vegetables to hit all the proteins, and that's why you have a headache because you're going into ketosis, and that's a whole different show.
Well, yeah, so 'cause I want to find a combination to be able to start doing these cleanses, for like 3 days instead of just 2 or 3 meals. You know what I mean? Because then it would be way more long-lasting effects and a real reset for my gut health and stuff like that.
Well, you can
But
contact
I think,
Janae.
and I think it's important to focus on the green juices, because that's the problem also. If you're drinking, if you're eating tons of fruit, and that's why, I think it's all really good with, the bowls and this sort of thing, but it's all sugar. I mean, and it's all good sugar for the most part.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
for the
say
most part,
I'm
it's
not gonna say
complex
Janae's
sugar.
age, but she looks so much younger than she is.
She looks
Like,
amazing.
Oh,
No,
Bashar, thank
no.
you.
I mean, you just
You were
look
right.
young,
She
period.
does look like Renee Russo. That's what.
Doesn't she?
Yeah,
That's so
for
She
sure.
funny.
does.
Thank you. Well, that's a compliment.
What was the name of that movie with?
The Thomas Crown Affair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
How could you not?
Yes.
Both
Oh
of
yeah,
them. But,
Oh
both
my
of them
gosh.
exactly.
Oh
but
my
we're going to
gosh.
do another show on biohacking, and we'll come
Oh,
back to
that'll
that
be fun. I
because
would
I've
love
been
to
a
hear
big
about that.
fan of that, and I've been doing that, and it's available to us right here in
Okay.
Phoenix, Scottsdale. So we'll come back to that.
Sweet.
Absolutely,
Alright.
we will do that. So we want to hear a lot about Martin's trips
Right.
and how he,
I have been on a lot of adventures in the last 3 weeks. that
and we
is
want to
for
hear
sure.
about Gold Rush
Yeah,
and
for sure.
music and traveling.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of you have been everywhere.
Mhm.
You've been ubiquitous.
Well, I'll start and then I'll throw it to
Yes.
Chet. But
Yes.
so I've started the whirlwind tour. My wife and I drove to California and we spent a week in Sonoma, right in Geyserville and Healdsburg. and just had a ball. My friend has a winery there, Mercury Wine,
Which we love.
That's
Yes,
the glasses
very
that we're
good.
drinking
Mercury.
from right there,
Mercury.
Mercury Wine.
Very nice.
And just drank an enormous amount of wine and ate non-vegetarian food because he's more of a meat eater.
Oh, that's
But
when
had
you
a lot of amazing vegetarian meals as well. I call myself a choositarian.
Sure.
I'm mostly vegetarian, but I dabble in other things. But I just good stuff.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I thought you said on this trip you ate more meat than you usually
I
do
did,
in a whole
but
year.
it was amazing meat.
In a whole
Right.
year.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, probably.
Yes.
But we had steaks and we had just
Farm raised.
farm raised stuff.
Oh,
This most of it's local raised. It's very sustainable and it just tastes different and it doesn't affect me like processed store bought stuff does. I mean, these people brought the pig in and did chopped it up for the food. It didn't come from
Right.
LA or
quality-
whatever. Yeah, I mean the
of
quality
food,
is
in
amazing
that
up there.
area is
And
off
just
the
a
charts.
ton of friends came in. There's probably 50 people that I have known over the last 10 years because we've been working this wine event with Brad Beard, the wine.
What
maker.
is the wine event?
So it's a blending party. It's only available for his club members.
So you have to pay a monthly fee? Or
Well, he sends out shipments 3 or 4 times a year, and then you just have to purchase the shipment, but you become a club member. So it's a guarantee that you're going to get some type of wine from him.
How much is that a month and how many wines do you get?
He's got a 3-box, a 6-box, and a full case, which is 12.
And what do you get?
And it ranges. Well, I buy stuff by the case, so the club memberships are actually too small for me. I want 1 case of Sauv Blanc and a case of Viognier and a case of that. So I buy by the case. But I still get the club member discount because I buy so much wine. And then all of my friends are wine club members, and some of them get the 3-packs, and some of them get the 12-packs. It just depends on where they are. But it can range because he's got wines anywhere from say $25 to $100. And you can pick and choose what you want. He doesn't limit you and make you take a certain thing. He lets you build your own case basically. And so
It's been a few years since we've done a show with him. We need to get him here on the show.
it is. I've been trying to get him here.
Okay.
He was here actually last weekend, which I was going to talk about, and then he's supposed to be here in December. And I've already talked to him about trying to get him in here and chat with you. But he's anyway.
Maybe December.
So the wine blending party is we had 42 teams competing, and they're usually 2 to 3 people on a team, and they compete for Brad making a cask of wine, and they get to sign it, and their signature and their name is on the bottle for the following year. It's called the Cru, CRU, and that's their wine, that their name on it. They don't get it, but they get discounts and things like that, but they get their name on it. So it's a lot of bragging rights. And we put out 4 different varietals. We don't tell anybody what they are. So it might be Merlot 1 year, Malbec 1 year, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc. Every year it's a little bit different. But he didn't want to bias anyone, so he doesn't tell them what it is until the very end. And so they taste it, and then we give them these little cylinders where they can mix the wine and give us a formula. And then Sherry and I are in the back, and we're making 42 formulas as fast as we can, just flying. And it's catered, and it's
Because if
in
you
the, it's in
win
the
this
forest.
mixing, what's the prize?
The prize is that you get your name on the bottle.
That's a big deal.
And he makes 25 cases of that. And like some people will buy them and give them away as Christmas
Oh,
presents.
that's cool.
Right.
Some people will some of the blends are so amazing, like the wine club members who were there want it. Because they remember how good the wines were that afternoon. So it's really a cool event, and people from all over the country in every walk of life. They've got executives from Apple and Google, and they've got nurses and doctors, and they've got lawyers. I mean, it's all different.
Restaurateurs,
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just so much fun. And we've been there, like I said, for the last probably 10 or 11 years, and so we know some people in town, we know all these folks, and so it's just like a homecoming every year, which is just so much fun. And then
And where exactly is Geyserville? Like in
Geyserville,
relation to like
San
Napa and
Francisco.
Sonoma?
So you've got the coast, you have Sonoma, then you have Napa, and San Francisco's here, and if you drive straight north for about an hour, you're going to hit Healdsburg, and in about another 15 minutes is Geyserville, and that's
So
right
it's an hour
close
and
to
15 minutes
Santa Rosa.
Right, yes. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
much
okay,
heaven
okay.
on earth. And as far as
Oh, you've been there.
Oh, my best friend lives in Hillsborough.
Oh, yeah, we were
My
just
best
talking about that
friend was
earlier.
a master sommelier in Hillsborough.
Yeah, one of
And-
her
Oh,
best
really?
friends
My
probably knows Brad.
Oh, he has to
Yeah.
know because he was also here. He in the '80s, and he ran the Golden Swan at the Hyatt when that was
Oh,
the
wow.
big.
I will
he's-
bet money they know
You
each other.
you've met, and other connections, but the resorts in this area are about as decadent,
Oh, yeah.
adult playgrounds as they get.
Mm.
Well, that's where Brad got his appreciation for wine here. He worked for, I think, the Scottsdale Princess or one of the big,
Sure.
and became the wine buyer, and then became a wine buyer for somebody else, and traveled the world buying wine for these decadent places, and then learn while he was there. He would learn from the winemaker how they made the wines and why things tasted a certain way. So he really used that time to learn, and then. Along the way, he discovered that he had a super palate, so he can pick out things that most people can't,
Right.
and then he can remember them. He can remember
I
what
know.
a wine tasted like that he tried 5 years ago. It's amazing.
My friend David Bedford is like that
Similar,
as well.
yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, he can talk about wine from,
Mhm.
it's amazing. And really has a gift of speaking in layman's terms, not
Yes.
without, there's always this mystique, this air. We actually work together and we're involved in cooking school and a wine shop up in North Scottsdale in
Oh,
the
that's
mid to late
fun.
90s. And we had a whole lot of fun when there were so many great independent chefs
Mm-hmm.
in this town, and we had them all. They were all part of with Barb Fenzel-Poole and part of this amazing thing that we did. So he has that gift of being able to communicate without making people feel uncomfortable. Because we've all been, gone out to a great restaurant and somebody knows and has had Silver Oak, and they order they keep ordering the same bottle of wine. It's like, no, let's try something different.
It is true.
We
Yeah,
know you know that, and we, you
right,
know what I mean.
right.
And that,
We know it's delicious,
It's a
but
safe
try something
chase.
new.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I like to try new things, try different wines, and
Absolutely.
that's one of the things I like about the smaller blenders like Brad and the other amazing winemakers out there is that they try different things. He mixed a Chardonnay with a Cabernet, like 75-25, and mixed them together as a rosé. And a lot of the other winemakers were like, "Oh, that's ridiculous because you have to make a rosé this way." It was one of my favorite rosés. It was so good, and he put it in a barrel together, so it got.
What's it called? Is there a name for it?
It was I believe it was the Freddie Rosé.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Freddie was his his wine dog for many years. He sadly just passed, but yeah, the wine's named after Freddie.
Oh, okay. Did I try that at that
I'm sure.
fundraiser dinner that we
No,
did?
not that one.
Okay.
That one came and gone very quickly.
That was so good.
Yeah, because he only makes 50 to 100 cases of
Right.
each thing. It's a small.
And then he starts with something new.
Complicated one.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
cool.
I think I think there's a trip on order here with some
Right.
homework for Miss Kinga,
I'm
all of
in.
us,
I'm
as
in.
we can all.
Are you
do
in,
it.
Chad?
I am in.
Yeah, it
Yes.
sounds fun.
You
You're
can
the
be
good
the
wine
music.
there-
You can be the
The
music.
food there is crazy good. Yeah,
Oh,
and
check a
there
DJ
is
there.
there is a lot of opportunities. There needs to be more opportunities for music. I bring my guitar up there, and we'll play
Yes.
at a tasting or whatever, just to add a little flair.
Oh, why didn't you get Chet to DJ? He could have been
Yeah,
up there
absolutely.
DJ.
We could.
I don't think it's the right.
Yeah, it's
vibe
a-
for,
it's a
not for
little
wine
different
tasting.
DJ, yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. It's
The
always
acoustic
right.
music's way better for wine tasting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Now,
No.
after the wine tasting in the
Right.
club, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I disagree. I like
And
that.
that's why you're not a DJ.
right.
No,
DJ knows where to play the right music.
That's right.
No, but if you like to dance while you're drinking wine, which I do.
Yeah.
Most people are going to those vineyards though to have like intricate experience with tasting the wine, not to like be dancing.
Afterwards, I think I agree with Martin. I think
Yeah.
afterwards,
Yeah.
and this is a pet peeve of mine. Having been involved in the hospitality industry a long time ago, and then working in, and being a participant at many different fairs, events. One of the things I really feel that, especially with proper luxury hotels, is there's no music. I mean, this
They
was
need music.
piano bar music,
Anything.
jazz. I mean,
A little
some
guitar.
dan-
Yeah, anything. But yeah, I'm with you.
It's-
Music is a big part of all of our lives.
That's why it's super exciting that now Arizona has this some festivals coming
Right.
here, like the Gold Rush. How was that?
Oh,
Jeff?
Luna
It
That was
already
Fabio's
happened, but it was a
coming
lot
up.
of fun. Yeah.
It
was a great
Well,
time.
do you have anything like exciting to tell us about that experience?
Well, it was just a ton
It's a
of fun.
3-day, right? 3 days.
No, it was just 2 days.
Just 2
but
days.
Where's it at?
it was at Phoenix Raceway.
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, the headliners were like Tiesto and Zoo.
Big deal.
Really big
Mhm.
headliners.
I mean, huge deal.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Sounds
Great time.
And
Yeah,
you
like-
performed? You
Yeah,
performed? Okay.
yeah. Every time I get to play at a festival, it just makes me excited for the next one and make new songs for the next one. So
I
Well,
really
that's
liked Alice in
so
Wonderland.
Cool.
How was she able to take that name, Alice in Wonderland?
because it's not spelled the same.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's
she changed
why,
it. That's
really.
So smart. Got it.
And also
Interesting.
it's a different medium. It's not a movie or TV show. It's
Mhm.
music.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
that
there's
makes sense.
multiple reasons. If she tried to make a movie called Alice in Wonderland and spelled it that way, then Disney could probably, come after her. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really like that, and then obviously you were my favorite, and then what was the Maximo? There was a DJ. I think you were behind the scenes getting food because you're one of the stars, but I was with Rachel and Owen and some of the friends, and we were listening to a DJ from San Diego, Maximo. And he was just
Well,
great.
it's ironic you actually brought up Alice in Wonderland because so during her set she called out one of the VIP groups that were in the front. She was like, "You guys should get up and dance. Like you guys paid all this money to get the best seat in the house. You guys are fucking sitting down. Get up and dance."
Right.
And it was clearly playful and funny. I didn't think
Right.
she was being an asshole. There's all these people online trying to call for her to get canceled, saying that she's entitled and being mean to her fans. I was like, these people are so sensitive nowadays. It's preposterous. She was literally making a joke,
Right.
saying get up
come
and
on,
dance,
guys,
yeah. And there's all these people that are "Oh, that's so rude," and all this stuff is so preposterous.
What?
How
Ridiculous.
sensitive people are nowadays. Yeah, she was being funny.
Even bad
And her
press is
performance
good
was
press.
great. Everybody else was getting up and dancing, so
Right.
they were the only people that were laying down. So,
Right.
and either way, she was still being funny about it. She wasn't actually mean to them.
But
So
I have to be on her side.
I'm
completely.
100% on her side.
I'm 100%
She was
on
just
her
being
side.
funny. She was saying, "Get up and dance. Let's go."
But even if she
Right.
wasn't being
that's the
funny,
DJ's job is to get everybody to dance.
I think it's
Right.
annoying if you're listening to that music and you're just standing there like this, and you see some people doing
It's hard.
that.
Well, it
it's
is
hard to
two-sided.
imagine.
Those people that have those tables in the front pay tens of thousands of dollars to be there, so they should be able to do what they want.
Well, sure.
Yeah, because they're
But
supporting her in a
It's
massive
still
way.
it's still part of the show.
Yeah.
I went to this puppet theater recently that was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Have
And,
fun.
and they were making fun of the audience and
Right.
that was
Yeah.
part of the show.
Yeah, and it's
right?
normal rock star stuff to say get up
Yeah,
and dance.
absolutely.
There was all these people online saying she's so entitled, trying to tell people what to do. It's no, that's being a performer. That's being a rock star. Is your
Right.
job is to get the crowd
That's cool.
going.
Yeah,
It was
doing them a
unbelievable that there was all these people online that were upset about it. I was like, you guys.
Well, I hope it makes her.
Their
fans
lives
more
must
passionate.
be really easy if they think
Yes,
that's
yes,
a big
that's a
deal.
problem.
Being told to get up and dance is so
Yeah.
scathing. It was.
Well, we have the Lensic Theater in downtown Santa Fe. We get wonderful music in, and a lot of it is music that you can get up and dance. And it's a beautiful, it's like the Orpheum, it's just a classic, beautiful, gem of a venue. And that's part of the reason why I don't like to go, because oftentimes I'll go and stand in the back or up in the balcony, and I'm always like, "Oh, you have to go sit down." It's why do I have to go sit down? I want to dance. I want
Oh,
to
so they
move.
don't let you dance at that venue?
No, they do
Oh, yeah,
not
there's-
let-
That's
yeah.
bizarre.
You
Yeah.
That's
have
so
to,
strange.
Yeah.
you have to sit in in
I've
your
been-
chair and
Yeah.
Why would you
know,
go to that venue then?
Yeah, and there, I mean,
Not twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful, and it's not all of the music is
Yeah.
that's maybe necessarily dance music, but still the whole point is that's a long time, 2.5 hours, which a lot of the shows
I know,
are.
I wanna
It's-
dance.
they
Well,
wanna
even
do it.
music that's not necessarily dance music makes me want to move.
Yes,
I
of
saw the
course.
Eagles back in March, and I
Oh,
was
yeah.
swaying the whole time. I wasn't
Right.
dancing or raging, but you're still dancing a little bit. And I think it's ridiculous for a venue to not allow
Well,
it.
I
That's
love that you say
wild.
that because I had great seats to not this last Eagles, but the Eagles before that. I actually went with the Fosters.
Mhm.
I went with the Fosters, which sadly, everybody say a prayer for him. Bill actually passed away. Did you know
I
that?
didn't know that.
Mm.
Oh,
That's right.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was on our show a couple times. But anyway, he took me and my sister, and we were in the third row at the Eagles, and there were these people behind us that sat down the whole time, but I wanted to dance.
Right.
And so he tapped me on my shoulder and said, "Oh, could you sit down?" And for a little bit I sat down and I thought, no, I'm here. Everybody else around us is dancing.
Right.
He wants to sit down. Well, sorry, I'm going to get up and dance.
Right.
And I did, and I enjoyed it. And, 80% of the crowd was dancing and
Yeah, if
standing
you want to
up.
sit down and have nobody in front of
Don't
you, then
go.
sit in the first row.
Watch a video at
Yeah,
home.
yeah, exactly.
Watch
Sit
a
in the
video.
first row.
Well, I grew
Yeah.
up.
And nobody's gonna be in front of you.
Exactly.
You can't bitch about
We
it.
went to the original music festivals, you know, especially all over this country, but in Michigan, we had, there were like fields. I saw Dave Mason, you know, Peter, I mean, all the great old, you know, I mean, I was 12 when I went to
Right.
my first concert, you know, because it wasn't like, yeah, of course people were indulging, but it was not anything, you know, dangerous. We weren't certainly
So
as
when you go to
kids.
Chet's
Well,
next show, are you going to be dancing?
I am absolutely going to be dancing.
Yeah,
I hope so.
to your point, I went from Geyserville to Joshua Tree Music Festival.
Fun.
So we
Oh my
spent 4 days there, and there were tons of kids running around. A lot of them had headphones on.
What was the main age group?
I would say probably 50 and older was the main age group, but there was definitely like families there with younger kids, and there was also like, you know, generations.
Okay.
There were definitely younger people there, but they brought their kids. And Joshua Tree Music Festival is just an amazing thing. It's-
Have you heard of it,
Tree
Chet?
is-
Yeah.
Joshua Tree
Okay.
is
yeah.
amazing,
Oh,
but yeah.
Joshua Tree is just beautiful, and it's an RV and campground. This festival, and you have the bowl, and the bowl has 2 stages, and then they have kind of food trucks that are lined up that are amazing.
Right.
And I would say
We
it's
didn't have any of that.
right. And it's world music. I mean, we saw bands from Africa, Latin America, England,
I love it.
all over the United States. Some local bands, because Joshua Tree is a
Right.
huge
Really attracts
hub for artists.
Indie musicians.
Yeah, indie musicians, and so we just saw some
But
amazing
musicians from all over the world.
all over the world,
Yeah.
and all
Well,
different
that's
kind
what
of music.
Gold Rush
styles.
was too.
Yeah, and so that was really cool. Just got to see some just amazing acts. The High Step Society, I think, was probably one of my favorites. It's about, I don't know how many people were up there. 14 horns, and they're just
Oh, wow.
real
Like Pink
upbeat.
Martini.
Oh my gosh, I
similar
love
Yeah,
that.
just really amazing music, and great, you know, crowd work, that kind of thing. And again, you know, just having that family friendly. There's only about 2,500 people that go, and it's camping. You can get an RV and that kind of thing, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. In the
I
middle
want
of
to
the
go.
desert.
Yeah.
You would have to get an RV. I don't think you would like.
Oh,
I
no.
don't think you would like tent camping.
Oh no, I like RV.
Well, Auto
I'm
Camp
an
is a
RVer.
property I have a little bit of knowledge and was involved with, which is they take the trailers, you know, like the old
Yeah, the-
Airstreams,
yeah.
and you know, and they have them all over the country now. They're building them. We actually
Oh.
financed a couple of their projects, so and it's
Yeah, they
very
do that
cool.
there at
Right,
JTMF. Yeah, they've
right.
got the repurposed old.
These ones are tricked out. Like,
Oh, yeah, inside's
Janine,
beautiful.
You
yes.
never said what your actual business is.
Sure. Well, for the last 15, 20 years or so, I've worked in commercial real estate and finance, but in a creative way. Everything I try to do has a little creative edge in it. So I worked in a lot of hospitality and then some just plain old boring stuff. But
Actually, Chet, your dad would really like to meet her.
yes,
Okay.
Have to make that introduction.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, because we'd love to be more involved in projects here in the valley.
Mhm.
I had a lot to do with things in the 90s, late 90s, and then we've done some projects. I'd like to do more, even though I think we have a little bit of overdevelopment in our beautiful state of Arizona at the moment, but that train isn't stopping anytime soon, so.
Absolutely, it's not stopping, and I mean, everywhere you look, there's high-rise apartment buildings, there's new homes. I mean, it's just amazing the growth that's happening here.
So do you think that we're just going on the up now, or because I've heard some people say, oh, we're going down, but I think we're going up.
I think you're still gonna go up.
Yeah.
I think the job creation in Arizona and the demand, I think that has a lot to do with it. And that one of the things that you would hope would be the great byproduct of all of this is with people converging from all over, particularly, let's say people from the West Coast and people from wherever, that the demand for healthier food, restaurants, the demand
Well, one
for
thing that
music.
nobody's or not enough people are
Music.
talking about is the demand for water.
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
literally our most essential resource.
Yes.
There's like so
they're
many more
talking
million
about
people that are projected to be moving to the Southwest the next like 5 years, and we're like already very close to maximum water output
Right.
from the Colorado River. They need to start implementing desalinization
Well, they've
in
got-
San Diego.
Yeah, there's so many things that they should be doing. The desert Arab states, they have much less water than we do, and they do an amazing job on recycling and using gray water in homes. And If we implemented half of what they've implemented, we would not have a water problem at all. So it's coming. I know that there's people, I've actually met with
That are
people at
working
the
on
city
it.
of Phoenix,
Right,
city of Glendale. That
Well,
are
what we have is a
really
salt
working with
problem.
Yeah.
So can you
All we have to
arrange
do is
that?
get the
Can you
salt
arrange
out of
a
the
show
ocean
with
water.
her
Yes,
about this?
absolutely.
fine.
Okay,
I have
you name a show that you want to do, and she's going to arrange it. That's
yes,
right.
no,
I'm
because
serious. That's all
these
she-
are all the, you
She's
know, the
calling me all the
hot
time. I
button
want to do
issues
this.
that
I want to do
I've-
that. She
Just
said
like when
it.
you mentioned about the desalinization, you know, there actually is a plant in Carlsbad, California. And I started reading about this about 8-9 years ago because in Tel Aviv, in Israel, these are common. They're all up and down
Oh,
the
yeah.
coast.
Mhm.
So I was
Yeah, we
really
should follow
intrigued.
their lead.
It was like $1 billion, and I thought, great, can you imagine this is going to solve a water issue for half of San Diego?
Mhm.
Wrong. This $1 billion
Mm.
plant really is just for Carlsbad.
Right.
And Carlsbad is also
Seriously?
going through a growth. Yeah, it's a very, you know, you would
Wow.
think that it would.
Oh, it's very expensive,
Very
but
ex- I'm
like
not saying
water's an
it's right.
essential thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we just need to start investing in it now.
Absolutely.
Oh, and there's some cool technologies. I just read about a gentleman that's he's got 100 units that are going on the Indian reservations in here in New Mexico, and it's I believe it's solar powered. I'm not 100% sure of that, but it's it takes water out of
From
the
the
air,
air.
and
Right,
it
I've
can
read
do enough for like a family or more just out of the air. So I mean, there's definitely some cool things that are coming.
There are, and this is what it takes. Is I think people like you,
Awareness,
your
yes.
awareness.
Well, water's something we have to be
Awareness.
proactive
Right.
about. If
Oh,
we're
yes.
reactive about water, we're going to be in a
Right.
Mad Max
These were your
society.
saving the
Literally.
planet.
Right.
One
Right.
show at a time.
And that's what it's about. I love that Chet always, and Martin, we're always, getting excited about awareness.
Mhm.
And because that's the number one thing. If people are aware, you're going to be more careful to not shower your hair or wash your hair too much,
Or leave the hose running, or
Or how
Yes.
about recycling in the
Mhm.
state of Arizona?
All those things are
Yes.
going to help, but realistically,
Yeah, right.
with the number of people that are going to move here, we also need more water sources.
Of
And
course.
the ocean's the best one of those.
I
it, should
agree.
it should just be something that people are talking about more, because if people are talking about it, then the politicians will know
Okay,
that
but
it's
Chet,
a
I know
necessity.
people that live in a condo where the water is, and they brag about how they take the longest shower because the water is included in what they pay.
right.
Okay, so that's
yeah,
really
that person's
sad.
a bozo. Yeah.
Well, that's really sad
Right.
because you're just,
It's a
you're,
waste.
you're so wasting. And I've been there and I'm like cringing, where like the water's turned on and they're going over here and
Right.
doing this and that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I go back and turn it off. But don't worry, I don't pay for that.
Well, we're in the middle of a drought.
Right.
Well,
We're in the
But
middle of a
you're wasting the water.
20-year drought.
Yeah, but
I'm like-
somebody's paying for that.
I can't
Right.
hang out with that person anymore because
Well,
that's
look,
super rude.
What you
The
should have
same-
done is called them out properly and said, we're in the middle of a big drought. Just because it doesn't affect you on a personal level because the water comes with your condo, other people are already feeling the pain from this.
Exactly, and I
And that's
did.
a very one-dimensional viewpoint.
Well, it also really starts too. Also
Yeah.
with the publicly held companies. Let's just say
Mhm.
I live right by Andaz and the old Borgata. That if you go on that property and in all around PV, a lot of these resorts, they're like a swamp and there's mosquitoes. We have mosquitoes.
Oh my gosh, I love that you're saying that. Yes,
and-
because they have
and-
too much
and-
water.
And I mean, look, we all like that, the sight of the green grass and,
Mhm.
but there are ways to xeriscape, but it is literally, we have mosquitoes, giant mosquitoes. And, we never had this up, and I always lived up in Cape Creek, Carefree, being, a horse person.
Oh, when I was a kid, we never had mosquitoes
No.
around here. That-
It's,
And
the,
every-
it's the golf courses, mostly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
There's a
they
lot of
actually-
standing water on the golf courses.
But there's like that central, the central corridor. There are
Yeah.
tons of homes that are grandfathered in, and they flood
Oh, the irrigation,
the
yeah.
irrigation.
Right.
And I mean, it's more water. You can see 1 yard is probably more water than I use in a
Just
month.
standing.
Just standing there, just sitting there.
and there's nothing good about that.
Yeah, there's nothing good about
There
that.
has to be a better way.
Yes.
I mean, in New Mexico, and as a matter of fact, my home, I live a little bit outside of Santa Fe, about 10 minutes.
We're all coming in the green rooms.
You've
getting your
gone
house.
to before. It's
Oh,
a
I'd love
New
to see
Mexico
some.
I'm serious, we're all going.
experience, Yes, and the acequias, which is what in the Western lingo you would call it an irrigation ditch, which dates back to the early 1700s. The Spaniards came up from Mexico. That runs right through my property, and there I have ancient apricot trees that were planted
Oh my
forever.
gosh. Wow.
So there's a lot of really fascinating history about New Mexico and its
Okay, for my
love of
birthday,
food.
I want to come have one of
Yes.
those.
I want you, look, you know, we're all in this together. I think that's the message that we really all have to do. And I think that, you know, we all want to finger point, but like I'm tempted to call the city of Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, and just say, really? Like, can't we try to like tell these people to cut back a little bit?
And with like the condo,
I just don't like the mosquitoes more than anything. I hate
well,
to tell you,
and in the condo where there's endless water,
right.
that should never be in the agreement.
No, absolutely
because
not.
that's a setup for people to waste. I mean, come on.
Mhm.
You know, if you get, I mean, not to be rude about like somebody being 19 or 17, they're not thinking about those things.
Right.
So, you know, if it's endless water that you can just have as much as you can, and they're not thinking, they're going to
Well,
waste.
they've already
not-
started raising rates, and I think that's really what it's
Gosh.
going to take. Is
Right.
once it starts costing those resorts money, because right now they probably have some grandfathered thing where they can use X number millions of
Sure.
gallons, right? And so until those kind of things change, and that's all public policy, that's pardon me, really when things are going to happen. You know, the low flush toilets.
I just got 2 of those.
That's right. Even, you know, it makes no sense to me that we don't use our shower water to water our lawns, like
We
that
have
kind of stuff.
Rain
That's so
barrels in
true.
New Mexico. Everybody has rain
Mhm.
barrels, you know, because we have, most people have flat roofed homes,
Yeah.
and we have, you know, like a gutter system, and we have rain barrels, and,
Mhm.
and it's like
It's
you just
amazing.
would
You have to have
not.
that.
I mean, you just would not have it. You
Right.
know what I mean? There are some people, you know.
So when it's raining outside, should I just start putting buckets outside?
well, I mean,
Well,
especially
there's you can put in what they call cisterns, which
Yes.
my nephew builds them, and they're 10 to 30,000 gallons they can put on your lawn, and you'll never see it, but then you can use it and pump it and water your lawn and that kind of thing. So there's definitely ways to do it, but it's expensive, so it's going to take some time. But again, it all goes
you have
to
your-
the public policy.
and commitment. And there's a gal I really want to have on the show that she has a skin salon in Old Town, and she lives in Old Town.
Mhm.
And she ripped up her whole front and backyard
Mhm.
and has put in a fabulous system, you know, with rain barrels, and has, you know, a whole, you know,
Captures.
and she actually has a living garden, you know.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to go see it.
No, I want her, and she's really took the time and did her research and
Wow.
was really committed. And
Mm-hmm.
she said like more than one neighbor has walked by and went, "Oh, I really love what you did to the front yard." Like, and
Wow.
not maybe in a positive way, you know, because they were, you know, like, what are you doing? You know,
I mean, they
and
don't like it.
They don't like it, you know, because it was
It's
like
not traditional.
It's not traditional,
Right.
right? But we have to move on from that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we do. We've I have a garden, so those type of things is what we're going to have to do.
Okay, but there's also the other side of the coin.
Sure.
Where as it's getting hotter, because some of the neighborhoods that have
Trees. And,
trees and grass, it's much cooler. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
as we're getting
Right.
hotter, if we do things to take away that, so we need to figure out how to save the water that's from the rainfall, save the water from
Well,
the
that's
showers,
the thing. That's exactly what we're talking about.
and not be wasteful.
Right.
Not be wasteful. Like you don't need to wash your hair every day,
Mhm.
and you don't need to take a 2-hour shower. Owen, do you take a 2-hour shower?
No.
Right.
Okay. Chet, how long are your showers?
Pretty quick, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, and it's a focus on that, just like you were saying. It's about talking about it. It's about bringing it up into the awareness
Right.
and bugging politicians. I think
Because I wouldn't want to see Arizona where there are no trees, there's no grass,
Yeah, the
and it's
moonscape.
all just brown, and I
Right.
wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like
Yeah,
that.
there's
So
ways
there's gotta be a-
there's ways to
yeah.
conserve water. Whereas if we do the proper conservation methods, we'll have plenty of water. There are Arab states that have now gone from a deficit of water to where they actually sell water to their neighbors because they've just changed the way that they
Right.
collect water and deal with water, and just made a huge difference.
And this
Bingo.
is leadership, and I think that, you know, we don't want to get into any politics or anything like that, but it comes down to leadership, and it's very, especially what the
Well, we
sacrifice.
kind of have to. I mean, I don't want to be like Republican or
No.
Democrat at all, but
Right.
I want to be.
Well, neither
Pro-America.
side. Neither side.
Pro-America.
addressing this is
Pro-
Well, yeah,
America.
exactly. Neither side is talking about the water issue or the homeless issue, really. And those are like the two biggest issues on the horizon for us.
Sure.
Right.
But if
For
people
sure.
start talking about it, if it's all you start hearing about in like political conversations are, we're driving towards the edge of a cliff with our water sources, we're running out of water, and we're definitely reaching some kind of a weird point with the number of homeless people, creating a safety
Nationally,
issue.
globally.
Yeah. And so those should be the top two issues on everybody's agenda. And the fact that politicians aren't talking about it should be a big red flag. So
Agreed.
Right, and I think going back to that, like that, the Howard Hughes Corporation and Jerry Colangelo are involved in the West Buckeye. As far as just that must be, it's an I think unincorporated area that they are planning this 3,000 home sustainable development.
Really?
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
no, this has been about a year
Really?
and a half or so that
I want to get
Yeah,
Jerry
yes.
on the show sometime. Jerry
Yes.
Colangelo on the
oh,
show.
he'd be great. He
Okay,
would be
because I have a
great.
lot of friends that are friends with him, but I never met him before. You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, everybody. I don't
He
know
would
Jerry
be great.
Colangelo. I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, it would be great. But I
So.
think this development. So next time I'll bring some more information and we'll kind of see what what the requirements are and what they truly are doing for
Oh, I love
sustainable
that.
development.
Yeah, the West
That's what I
Valley
love.
is doing some amazing things. There's the city governments out there are really trying to be proactive, not only with water but electricity, because they're driving a lot of the jobs
Right.
that are coming here that you mentioned earlier.
Right.
A lot of those jobs are coming in on the West Valley, and you've got that huge Taiwanese chip
Right.
plant that's coming in right on the
Deer
one
Valley,
the Deer Valley, but
Even further, right.
Surprise.
Just as you come in on the 10 from,
Yeah.
and you're coming in from California or
Mhm.
exiting it, that whole area looks like, Riverside County.
Well,
in
just
California.
shortly before this podcast today, I had a window company, I'm not going to say the name, come out to do some measuring because I have two glass that need to be replaced because they're compromised. Where I see, if it's raining, there's a little
Sure.
humidity coming in
Right,
or whatever,
right.
so the seals are broken.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting with this company. This is the third time they've come out to measure. The first time it was like, okay, they're trying to like sell me more. Then the second time, it was okay. We're measuring for the final thing, and then I thought they were done and they were going to give me a bid. Then they said, oh no, we really need to do the true measurements. And I was like, what? This is the third time.
Right?
And so then that third guy comes out and he says, well, we gave you, they're always upselling
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they're adding more. So
Right.
he says, well, no, that last bid or the bid we just sent you, that's for a vinyl frame, not aluminum. And I said, vinyl? I've never heard. Have you heard of vinyl?
Yes,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay. And so he said, well, a lot of people for sustainability reasons are going to vinyl frames. So then this guy that's worked for the company for 40 years, I'm not going to say the company or his name, he says, well, but if it was my home, I'd want aluminum. And I said, well, my front door, my sliding glass doors are new. What are those? And he says, those are aluminum. And I said, well, what are the pros and cons of getting the vinyl? He said, well, the vinyl's not going to last as long.
Mhm.
Well, that's not sustainable, number one.
Right.
And then number two, he says, because it's flexible, there's something more sustainable about it, but yet he said, I wouldn't do it on my home because then you're going to get cracks in the stucco
Right.
and leaks. And I'm like, that's not sustainable.
Mhm.
So, I said, okay, let's call the whole thing off. And that's why I was running a little bit late today and a little bit stressed because I'm like, I don't even want to replace any of the windows or anything with this company. I'm starting with something new. So I was so you do development. Do you know anything about this vinyl frame?
No, but I wouldn't say
versus aluminum?
I don't
What's
know
more
that I can
sustainable?
really get into both the vinyl, but
Okay.
I think
Yep.
there's a lot better methods that we could be building homes here, also.
Okay.
And we've all seen it, and fortunately we live in a climate here that doesn't get so cold, but certainly so hot.
Well,
But-
so to be continued. Let's
Yeah.
do some
Let's talk
research on that
about
because
that.
I'm curious. How is it
Right.
more sustainable? Which one's better?
I do not believe vinyl is more
No,
sustainable
I
in
don't.
any way, shape,
Right?
or form. I think that guy was trying to sell you a
Right,
load of hooey.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Aluminum is
It's
recyclable.
cheaper,
Glass
I
and
would
aluminum
think.
are both the most recyclable
Right.
things that we use. And
Thank
so,
you.
that would be the thing I would want my windows to be.
And they were
made of.
coming
And
out to get
vinyl
the
is
final
poisonous,
payment. I'm
it's
like-
plastic.
Right.
It's not sustainable.
And that
Yeah.
cute little old granny that's gonna be like, okay, honey, and just write
Mhm.
out the check or
Yeah.
hand them their credit card because
Well, that's
they
why you
say
have to be
this is the new-
informed.
Exactly.
That is why, because
Exactly.
there's a lot of people now that we call it. I was in the environmental chemistry world, and we called it greenwashing,
Mhm.
where people are touting their products
Right.
as safer,
Yes.
more
Right.
environmentally responsible
Right.
than the last crap that we sold you.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. It's a big issue, and that's why you have to educate yourself. You have to ask questions. Like you're great at just asking everybody
Right.
you know questions. Then
Yeah.
when you find the
Right.
experts that have
You have to
actually
do the
had some
research.
experience,
Yes.
you get the information you
Yeah,
need.
and then in the end, I said to the guy, I said, well, on those 3 windows that we started this project out with, if we just replace the glass, those aluminum frames that are already there,
They're fine.
those look great.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a European vacation replacing these things.
Right.
If you're trying to put it into vinyl now. And I said, let's just replace that glass. But when he left, I thought, I don't want this company. I'm going to start over.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah.
If they're telling you that vinyl is more sustainable than aluminum,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking you might want to try something new.
So
Yeah.
in this world, we just have one chance to make it the best it can be,
Mhm.
right?
Unless you believe in
And-
reincarnation, then
Right.
the sky's the limit.
Here, right,
Right.
now. And we have 5 minutes. So,
Mhm.
I want each of us to go through with how we are trying to make a difference and how we're going to try to make it better. Let's start with Chet.
I would say, just through making music, that's like why I got into making music, because it had such a profound effect on me. Every time I'm having a bad day, I put a certain song on that'll lift my mood. Or I really listen to music all the time, and different genres, different artists depending on my mood. But the way that the right song can fix a bad day,
Mhm.
that's like the real thing that made me want to start making music. And so,
So true.
and that's why I'm really obsessed with it, and I put my heart and soul into every single gig that I get. And I would say, I don't know, I'm just lucky that what I do for fun is also like how I make a living. So
I love it.
I love it.
Yay. And music is healer. And if we look at it, music is part of our tribal existence. And, there's so many therapeutic modalities. When you go to a spa, immediately the music takes you into one place. When we travel, what is the first thing we look for? Food, because we have to eat, and then entertainment, music,
yeah, well, I love all art forms. Music just happened to be the one that I am able to produce, and that it actually also happens to be my favorite. So I got lucky that I got that roll of the dice. But I also love painting and movies and visual art, all types of art. So
Yeah, so you need to come to New Mexico. So what I would like to know, what is the first music that you heard that as a child that
that's a good question.
inspired you, that really that you felt connected to and felt
That's a
deeply
great
had a
question.
connection that said, I want to be part of this.
Was it my music or your dad's music?
I know.
no, I would say like the first
Pick.
genres that I got obsessed with were classic rock and hip hop. Like those.
Those are both mine. Okay.
No, they're not.
Yeah, your dad was like
He's
Frank
obsessed with
Sinatra
classic rock.
Yeah,
What
in
are you
30s and
talking
40s.
about? No, trying
Just
to take
kidding.
credit for no
Just
reason.
kidding.
I the hip hop that I found, I basically found like through friends. But yeah, I would say those are like the two genres that affected me the earliest. Like the
And you
song.
grew up in a home with music. That
Yeah,
was,
the
some people
song
don't.
Magic Carpet Ride by Steppenwolf. The way
Yeah.
those chords go,
Oh,
dun, dun,
yeah.
like, because I always, whenever I'm writing a song, I always feel those chords first.
Right.
I think it's partially from that song. Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
Dun-dun-dun.
you're
Yeah.
talking all
Dun-dun-dun.
art.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
way those chords
Those are the building
grow.
blocks of modern music.
Right.
Yeah, and so I
Absolutely.
like to find bass lines in my songs that like really like catch your ear and get stuck in your head like that, and just
Yeah.
make you feel an emotion, whether that's like that feeling of like power or might, whatever it is, confidence. So, and my favorite classic rock songs and my favorite hip hop songs definitely have elements of that. So I'd say that was probably my like the first genres and artists and songs that inspired me.
Well, I love that you mentioned Led Zeppelin because Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin,
Oh.
like I think every one of all the songs are
It's
genius.
so diverse. So too
Yes,
with Alice.
very different,
So
yeah.
you'll never see him the same.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. Like I think they're one of the number
Well, yeah, their
one
whole
bands out there.
discography is epic. Kashmir, I think, is just like one of the most epic songs of all time. Like,
Chet would come out to pitching the Kashmir, and that's so indelible for me.
Oh,
What about
yeah.
you, Martin? What would you say is
Well,
your?
it's interesting. I've had a very interesting roller coaster of music because when I was very, very young, I had one of those little record players that you put up and down, and I listened to all my mom's old records and my grandmother and grandfather's old
Sure.
records.
Cute.
So it was
Yeah,
Hank
turntable.
Williams Sr.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
early
yeah.
Elvis Presley. There was a couple
It's
of
the best way
bands.
to listen to music.
Oh yeah,
So it is the best.
Buck Owens,
Yeah,
Buddy.
Me too. Yeah.
Buddy Rich, I think.
Right.
Just like Waylon Jennings, like really the standards. And then I went straight from there to the Phoenix Boys Choir, and it was just classical music. you know,
it.
Mozart and Bach and Beethoven, and, you know, toured the world singing in these amazing Gothic churches, singing all this amazing, you know, ancient music. And then into high school, I really didn't, I didn't know much about modern music. I really hadn't listened to the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or anything like that.
You were
I remember
were you a
sitting.
nerd?
Oh, I was such a nerd. I remember sitting in the back of science class, and the star quarterback sitting next to me, and it's me, and his name was Kenny, and he goes, "Hey man, you we're just chit chatting and stuff." It was in my first, I think it was like the first week of school, and I'd never met him before, and he's like, "Hey, you like Leonard Skinner?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's okay." And then he was just like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." And I didn't. I had no idea who Leonard Skinner was until later. But I found out, and then really spent, I was very grateful. I had some friends who were just music files and really share, like, they knew that I told them, I don't know what any of this is, share it with me. So they did. We would sit down and we would listen to album after album after album after album, and they would know the history, or, you know, who the players were and what their influences were, and just so I learned a lot by that. And I still have the same situation today there with the band. My bandmates, all of them know more about music than I do, and they are always bringing in music, like a new band and a new song that was in the, you know, super big hit in the 90s that I never
Owen
heard
says
of.
we have 1 minute left.
Okay.
Us.
So we have to cut it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say Led Zeppelin, Queen, and what was my last one? I can't think of it. So
That's okay. Those are two good ones.
Right.
so Led Zeppelin, Queen, and there was one more that's my favorite.
The Who?
But Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stones.
Rolling
Sure,
Stone. So
sure.
we will have to talk about this next time.
We have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Yay.
So saving the planet.
One.